It's astonishing, really, how quickly a self-righteous, virtue-signalling, woke socialist douchebag will turn when someone dangles in front of them a shitload of money. Now, when Qatar made that bid a few years ago to become the hosts of this year's World Cup, David Beckham himself publicly declared that he was disgusted and they shouldn't have it. However, fast forward a few years now and he is the official ambassador for Qatar. Imagine my shock. David Beckham, his wife and their kids, they're all greedy sods anyway. The guy only did his charitable work in order to get a knighthood he never got, and I hope he never does. And you had the Lord Woke Wanker on Twitter himself, Gary Lineker, a guy always bleating on about the wealthy Conservatives and Brexiteers and the tax rumours surrounding them, and then it turned out he wasn't paying his fair share of taxes either. The hypocrisy. And now there's Gary Neville. Now, I know I've made a video about him recently and the Qatar goal that he's taken. I just want to reiterate it, really, because he was on a BBC programme a few nights ago, Have I Got News For You? Now, for those of you unfamiliar watching outside the UK, Have I Got News For You is a satirical news political comedy panel show. And it was really funny back in the day, but it's kind of lost its shine or its luster, so to speak. It's not the same anymore. I mean, when it first started, they attacked everyone and had a right go at the left and the right, but now they just attack Conservatives and that's it. It's because that's the way the grain falls, isn't it? And so Ian Hislop on there, he questioned Gary Neville and made him squirm, as did Richard Medley, who instigated it, and rightly so, because Gary Neville was hosting, and it was great watching him squirm there, because that's all he is, folks. It turns out all this virtue signalling, bashing Brexit, bashing the Conservatives, and being a refugee welcome clown, you know, all the woke projects out there. Turns out he's doing it all for money. He's not doing it for principle, just like the rest of them. It's for money. Now, Gary Neville has slagged off Qatar for its human rights abuses, the fact that thousands of migrant workers died in the constructions of the stadiums which will host the World Cup football games, and the violent persecution of homosexuals in Qatar. And when he was questioned by Ian Hislop on why he was going there, he said he was going there to speak out against Qatar, but he's being paid by them. He is being paid by the Qatari government 3-point-something million to go over there as a sports commentator. Now, surely, if he actually gave a shit about what he's speaking up against, and he was really passionate and believed in what he was saying and preaching, then he could still do it while sat at home without going over there and taking their money. And so he thinks he can take Qatari money and pretend to be on the right side of the moral argument. But let's face it, folks, no lefty out there is on the right side of the moral argument. Not in today's day and age. Not the way they behave. So there we go, another woke preacher turned and exposed by money. Now, I'm not watching the World Cup because I don't give a shit about what Qatar does with its own traditions and culture, etc. They keep it there, they do their own thing, it's nothing to do with me, none of my business. Yes, it's cruel and awful the way they treat their own people, but there is absolutely nothing I can do that can change that. So my reasons for not watching the football is the fact that England bend the knee to Black Lives Matter, and Wales won't last beyond the group stages, and the fact that woke politics has now spread through football like a cancer. That's why I'm not watching it. In fact, that's why I'm not watching football in general. Most of these footballers are horrendous little human beings living like Roman emperors with yes men surrounding them, living in a world of stunning greed. Anyway, that's me rant. That's my video. Hope you like. Let me know what you think in the comments. And until my next one, I think I'm going to try and take a break for a couple of days doing this. Because quite frankly, checking the mainstream media, Twitter and elsewhere for material to make my videos, it gets kind of depressing because it's just literally bad news and just shit everywhere. And it does get to you. Anyway, so there we go. That's me. Take it easy. I'll see you all again soon, and Roger Trout.